This video will go over the finer details of the turning grill that you guys are to complete for me for an assignment. So what I have in front of you is just a 6x6 grid, and I have a predetermined message that I am going to create. And just for the sake of argument, I have actually already completed it. Here is the cipher. Now, no one would be able to, well, not no one, but it would be incredibly difficult to decode said cipher unless you had the grill or the key to figure that out. And this is the details that I want to go over. Now, the quote that I have chosen, we'll just kind of show it to you real quick right here. You can see the first few letters that are popping out, where I'm just going to write them to the side right here. Thenemyk. So Thenemyk. I'm going to turn the grill. Now, the grill can technically be turned in either direction, whether it be clockwise or counterclockwise, but whatever direction you choose to turn in to begin with, you have to continue turning in that direction. I'm going to continue on the next line, and I'll try to figure out what this thing says after the fact, even though I already know what it says. But Nowsthesy. I'll turn the grill again right here. Line up those letters. STEMXCLAU. Turn it one more time to get the final set of letters here. Gotta line it up quite nicely with that grill. DESHANNON. So now I'm going to bring you to the decoded texts, see if we can make some sense out of it. The enemy knows, with the K, NOS, WS, the system. I had to include this extra X because I needed to have 36 letters. So that X is just a filler letter. But it is a quote by a famous mathematician by the name of Claude Shannon. This quote, "The enemy knows the system," is actually a reformulation of a very famous cryptography principle known as Kirchhoff's principle. And I would suggest that when you have an opportunity, you look up Kirchhoff's principle and see how it relates to this quote, "The enemy knows the system." So, how are we to go about creating such a 6x6 grid? Well, I have my 6x6 grid laid out right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm first going to break this grid into quadrants. Now, this is partially why it's important to have an even square, 4x4, 6x6, 8x8. Because if you want to break it up into 4 quadrants, it's very nice. If you had an odd grid, like a 3x3, a 5x5, a 7x7, there would be special rules to deal with that center, but that's neither here nor there. We're just going to be dealing with the even size grids. As we've done in the past, I'm going to number the first quadrant 1 through 9. Now, again, it doesn't matter what direction you turn. You can turn clockwise or counterclockwise. As long as the receiver knows what direction you turned in, should be fine. But I am going to turn the grid 90 degrees in order to renumber the next quadrant. And this is going to come in handy when I choose exactly what squares are going to be a part of the grill. I am going to turn it again. Can't see it, so I'm going to bring it up here. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And finally, 1 through 9. Now, I've done these examples with an X-Acto knife. And number one, if you're going to use an X-Acto knife to create your key, to create your grill, I would strongly suggest having something underneath in order to not put a hole in your desk or something like that. You can see I've been using this folder, and it's been cutting holes in the folder, but I don't care about this folder. So I could do that same thing if I wanted to. But if you don't have an X-Acto knife, you can still do this turning grill. You just simply have to mark off where your holes are going to end up being, and I'll show you how you can do that. I'm going to pick the same ones that I did from before. So I'm going to pick this 2, meaning I cannot pick any other 2 on this grill. I'm going to pick this 7 and this 8, this 9 and this 6, this 3, this 1, this 5, and this 4. You're going to pick the numbers. For a 6x6, you would pick the numbers 1 through 9, but you would only pick them exactly once. The question came up in class, can't I just pick 1 through 9 right here in the first quadrant? Yeah, technically you can. You absolutely can. That would make for a boring key, but you could totally do that if you wanted to. And it might not be as secure as you would hope it would be if you just picked that. By picking them kind of at random, it makes for a more secure grill. But again, whatever number you end up picking, for example, the number 9, you can only pick one of them. The number 5, you can only pick one of them, because every time you turn it, it's going to be displaying a brand new letter, and you can't have any repeats. So you can see that I picked the exact numbers from the grill that I cut out earlier. Just kind of nice. So then I would have my quote. And again, you're going to be picking some kind of a quote. You're going to try and get as close as possible to 36 letters. My quote with the name of the person who said it was only 35 letters. So I had to include an extra filler letter. Now I choose X just because, but you don't have to choose X. You can choose any letter you want. But here is my grid. Now, if you were using a key, a grill, with the holes cut out, you could easily lay that over top and begin filling in the letters. Now, with my quote, the enemy knows the system, Claude Shannon, with that extra X, that was 36 letters. So what I did to start was I wrote out that quote, but I wrote it out 9 letters at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because those letters would go into the first turn of the grill. Then the next row, and then I'll show you how I would put these in. Knows the system, but it would just be that because I would only need 9 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll just fill out the rest. System, that's 4 letters. There is my filler letter to get 36 letters, of course. And the beginning of the name Claude. The rest of the name Claude. And then Shannon. My pen's running out of ink right now. That's great. There we go. Yeah, not really showing up that great, but that's okay. There we go. 36 letters, 4 turns of the grill, 9 letters per turn. And I would fill them in like such. The enemy with the first K in the word knows. Then that grill would begin to turn. And if done correctly, when you turn it, you should have 9 completely brand new spaces to fill in the next line of letters. Now, if you were doing this without having the holes cut out like I did right here, there is a way with careful holding up of the paper to light and whatnot to be able to see the dark letters underneath. But obviously with what I'm filming right now, it's not that not really feasible or possible. So what I ended up doing was I lined this up directly on top, and I would say, okay, I knew the first letters was the enemy and then the letter K. And then I'd be like, okay, well, it goes here with the T, and then the next 2, the HE, and then the next 2, and then the EN. And I would keep doing this knowing that I had the letters exactly where they were supposed to be on the first turn. Then I would turn 90 degrees in the direction that I have predetermined, and I would do the same thing. The next row of letters would be the rest of the word knows, the, and then the first two letters in the system. And I would fill them in. And actually, I'll fill them in right here, actually. So it's NOWS, NOWS, and then the word the, THE, and then the first two letters SY, S and Y, exactly where they're supposed to go. Then I would make that turn 90 degrees, and I would keep going. Obviously, it's a bit easier to fill this out with the holes in the paper because it's just a bit tedious to have to go back and forth. Okay, where are these letters supposed to be? But it still gets the job done. There's my filler X and the first few letters in the name Claude. There we go. I turn it one more time, line this thing up. And at this point, I'm on the last row. I mean, I really don't even need this for the last turn because the remaining spaces should work out quite nicely as long as you've previously written out 9 letters at a time. Shannon. There we go. And now I have my cipher, a 6x6 grid that can only be decoded using that system of a turning Grille. Now, obviously, a turning Grille is susceptible to anagrams and people just being able to create words here and there or just kind of make guesses as to where things are, which is why you typically don't want your holes or your X's to be in a pattern. You kind of want them to be random. Use your best judgment. What your goal for this mini project is supposed to be is that you're going to pick some kind of a quote. You don't have to include the name of the person who said it. I just included that because I wanted to get up to 36 letters, and I had to include an X in order to fill that out. Actually, you don't even have to put the X between there. If you want, you can put technically wherever you want. It's just a filler letter. And then I want you to fill out that grid. What you need to send me in this Google Classroom assignment is the key, meaning if I could remove this paper, that'd be great. I could show you. Whether you did the holes or the X's, I need to see one or the other. Just a picture of that. You don't even have to send me the quote. You don't even have to send me the quote. I want to figure out what your quote is. And I would like your cipher. Of course, you need to tell me what direction you turned, whether it be clockwise or counterclockwise. But if you did it correctly, I can guess either one or the other and try to figure out what that thing is supposed to be. So if you have any questions, please make sure you are emailing me. I can try to answer them as best I can. Thank you.